All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday. There's a Wednesday. No, it's Tuesday. Just want to acknowledge we're coming here from English River Reserve in Treaty 6 territory, homeland of the Métis, taking care of nation business. And in order to start in a good way, we'll call to order, but I'd like to ask our elder, Norman Fleury, to open us up with a prayer in a good way. Elder Norman.
We can remain seated this morning. We're closer to the ground, and we're get ourselves well grounded and in spirit, in respect, and love, and understanding. And I'm very happy to be here. Greatly honored, and all of you that are listening out there in the Métis world, in your communities, in your homes, with your families, your loved ones. We're very fortunate that we can come together as a nation, as people, as we continue building for the future of our children and our grandchildren. And as we move forward, we think about our leader, Louis Riel, and the tables that they had and their councils, and this table and our tables that we have as we continue. And as I sit here as the elder of the provincial elder, and with elders across the homeland, north, central, and south, the foundation of our nations through nationhood, through the distinction of who we are as a people and as a nation, with our language and languages that we speak across the homeland. And we just be thankful. We just had an early learning conference, which we got ourselves well grounded in moving forward and bringing the communities, north, central, and south, and different schools where our young children are relying on us and depending on us, so we can leave a legacy for them to follow through not only governance, but community building, nationhood, and understanding of who they will be as we leave something for our children. And I sit here, I think about those strong communities that are out there in our homeland and what has been built, and we continue on the strengths of our leaders and our leadership, and all of you that are leading and sitting as leaders at the tables that we're at, and the fellowship that we have developed and what we've developed to move us forward in a good way. And that's what I ask the Creator to help us today. Regardless of what the deliberations and the understanding of we're bringing together the strength of our government, we continue moving forward by listening to one another, by understanding one another, and finding that balance within the creativity of what we're doing to move forward. And now we're in the time of our life where we will be moving forward. And we must say, yes, we are going into elections. And that is a reality. You can't hide that. It's a reality. And there are challenges. And that's about when you have elections, there are challenges. But the challenges as we move forward are challenges that are very strong, that are complementary to what we've built and how we continue building. So with that, Ngapik Shwana go ni staman ito ga kimiyat chipik shwayan umagatas tamak kagi sushi toya kagi usta bantuga kiwichi goya che opinamasho ya kuma tandek sigaus chia kumaga pik shwaya tandegan taugia kaya so stigmosom na ni kokom na ni gusto gagi ni gani chikimi wona ni kistanan chipin sa hamake go tap school we real kagi ako chikasot origina kagi atu gina gatak batosh egi wit ni gut smagan shali polis I would eight was dead ni moya ni kiskwan ito umaga kan ka open naman one ma kan painaw ganipon is soks yan tapos ocean Ani gani yan, watanis tatap skondos, wataman tugan kawichi goya, niwitap chiwitap ni goya, koyes chip motea, egas one sinia, chip mitsa hamakin magakius tamaso ya kasi, egos shitus kato ya, egas one ikea, Tande umaga kaiship muhtea, kumamina kapeyamaga. The elections kaichigate, agorma. Chibush tischigea koyesh, maga koyesh, ega chuansinia. Help us, our Creator, today and always as we move forward. And let us have a good meeting and let's move forward. Thank you. Shimarsi, thank you.
Thank you, Alder Norman, for getting us going.
Recording in progress.
So now we will begin with a roll call. So folks online, if we get your mics on, that'd be great. And we'll start with President Glenn McCallum. President McCallum,
Okay.
roll call.
Here.
Right on. Vice President Michelle Leclerc.
Ota.
Thank you. Secretary Lisa McCallum.
Here.
Thank you. Northern Region 1, Laura Burnoff.
Utanista.
Thank you. Northern Region 2, Leonard Montgrand. Northern Region 2, Leonard Montgrand. I see his name there. Okay, we'll come back. Mervyn Tex Bouvier, Northern Region 3.
Concept.
Thank you. Eastern Region 1, Ryan Lee Carrier.
Good morning.
Good morning. Eastern Region 2, Brent W.J. Dignas.
Morning.
Leonard Montgrand, good morning.
Thank you, Leonard. Eastern Region 2A, Tim J.W. Rusin.
Here.
Thank you. Eastern Region 3, Mark Friesen.
Omata here.
Thank you. Western Region 1, Loretta King.
Good morning.
Good morning. Western Region 1A, Billy Kennedy. Western Region 1A, Billy Kennedy. Western Region 2, Sherry Ann McLennan. Western Region 2, Sherry McLennan. Western Region 2A, Kathy Pruden.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Thank you. Western Region 2A, Kathy Pruden Ansel.
Here. Good morning.
Thank you. Western Region 3, Wendy Gervais. Western Region 3, Wendy Gervais. Thought I saw her name on there. Okay. Youth President Autumn Lang LaRose.
Ota.
La Fille de Madeleine President Darlene Langen.
Here.
Thank you. Go back to Wendy.
Apparently Wendy's having trouble with her Zoom, but she's trying to get on.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we have 4. Excellent. Approval of the agenda. Could I get a motion to accept the agenda? Minister Friesen, second. Oh, President McCallum, thank you. Any changes or amendments to the agenda, folks?
Can you put the agenda up, Mr. Chair?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Just give us a second. Let's pull it up even more. Right to 9:15. There we go. Okay. Any changes or amendments to the agenda, folks? All right. Hearing and seeing none. All in favor? The poll is up. And President and Minister. Okay, and we have 2 more votes here. So passed. Thank you very much. Now we'll begin with opening remarks from President Glenn McCallum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kinigi sinugi ogantuk tamiwas our councilors kamamopia. Kay sumachik tayo elder, thank you. Kay sayo miniwas kay sayo mahain. Mantum no dato ito tamuha. Questa gui mitsama kita tuski no wasi questa gui sui pinigia kaste. Ano sumam kawi pumunta ta ako mo this government kakam pumunta ta 8 years ago Kapatuloy mga may apatista, kita mahon no questa qui sumampanihta kaya bitwa wis kita no tataksin ya ka kyo isinwak tekskita ko tamego kita isinim na dengan gigawi kasitus ko ko indawim ba ko tayo magawas kapya ko latap mitsunak to magawas kapya indawita ko magya pita so gaytuin miumamuwap tak. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Elder, for the prayer this morning. Great words, wise words in regards to how you put in our prayer, the prayer that you said this morning, in regards to the reality of where we are, but more importantly, in regards to what we have achieved through this council. The people listening in, thank you very much for joining us today, or joining your government at work. Today, the most important piece of our business is the financials today, the budget. Our minister responsible, Minister Friesen, has done a great job in leading that file for the last 8 years. And we've seen nothing but growth and passing our budget every time it comes in front of us. And so as we begin to move on, when the elder prayed about our history, where we're from, I'm more often now I get to quote our leader that had left us. And you mentioned that, Elder, in regards to our leader being hung. When I first started 8 years ago, I started to see the difference in regards to how the doors were opening federally, provincially, industry-wise, institutions, especially our people that are here believing that we can be different, we will be different, and be more accountable and transparent and engaging as we begin to move our government forward. I'm going to read this quote. And even yesterday when I was doing a live interview, already people were asking in regards to how far we've come. Breakfast this morning at Chorus, I'm pretty sure the figure came across the minister's table in regards to the cost of the breakfast I've had in the last 4 years. But it's important. Public relations for our government is so important. There's a big dollar figure to that. But I want to read this quote where I believe strongly, and I hope everybody does, in regards to what our leader before he was hung wrote. I'm more convinced every day that without a single exception, I did right. And I have always believed that as I have acted honestly, the time will come when the people of Canada will see and acknowledge it. By what we've done in the last 8 years, the negotiations that have been happening, the core funding that we have, the budget itself, which our minister will be talking about, the large number of staff that we have, 265, and the regions having a bit of capacity, and same with the locals. We're trying hard. We're still building. Even though we hear a lot of capacity is needed, absolutely, we believe that very strongly. We'll keep working on it in regards to how we negotiate with the federal government and hopefully the province slowly coming on side. But the budgets are so important in order for us to run our governments. And we've done a great job by our finance minister and our finance committee, our staff that done great work in fine tuning in regards to how we spend our money. And it'll continue to grow. Our fiscal relationship with the federal government is healthy. Our team negotiating with our lead, our CEO and our COO, leading that conversation with the federal government in regards to what kind of capacity we need and continue to need. You know, the areas that we've improved so much in education, first-time homebuyers program, repair program, those are really high numbers in regards to what we've done and the money that we've spent. And sometimes there is gaps, we fall short, but that's to be expected, a new government, and keep the conversation healthy and ongoing with the federal government to be able to hopefully close those gaps in regards to what dollars we need for our government. And the election is around the corner. And people are watching, and they should. Look at our track record, and they should. To be able to choose your next government is to be able to see the results of what we've done. But at the same time, look at what we didn't accomplish, especially at our last assembly, the disruption that happened. And now we're suffering for that. Now we have to hold an emergency assembly coming up in the near future. I worry about those things. But people needed to see for themselves when we don't connect with each other, when we don't work together, we can really easily be sidetracked. And that's what happened. And it was very clear. You saw it for yourselves as council. The people out there saw that. It was very frustrating for a lot of our people that expect more from our government, our assembly. I hope those are the conversations that the general public will put to us and what our thoughts are around building a government, but not self-interest or politically driven intent. We have to be very careful. We've come a long ways, yes. We've got a ways to go yet. But as we begin engaging with our people through the election, hopefully they can hear the visioning and the goal setting that we have individually, and to be able to have them make up their minds in regards to how and who should represent this government. And so with that, I look forward to this meeting. Our job is to be able to move this government in a good way. And I thank the chair in regards to the many frustrations that we put him through, in regards to the politics that be played around this table. I hope that doesn't happen today. And we have a very short period of time to be able to do the work that needs to be done before the writ this job, which will be on April 18th, I believe. And then election day is May 24th. So that, Mr. Chair, keep up the good work all the years that you've stuck with our Métis Nation. A good solid Métis like yourself, understand some of the challenges that we have, but you stood strong to be able to chair these meetings. Even the question of why are you chairing? Why isn't the president chairing? These questions, technicalities. We use our people in a good way. Everything that we do at this table, not just because Glenn has a good idea, it goes through our technical people, it goes through our CEO, COO, it goes through legal. Everything is done properly here. That's why a lot of times we create conversations without evidence to prove the point where we should have a 1 hour and a half discussion on a technicality. Our people are smart enough here that are sitting here, understand, and more they're having that confidence. But when we have politicians that are aggressive towards our staff, it really does turn them off to be able to feel comfortable and have that confidence to be able to work with our council and move things forward. And so with that, Mr. Chair, keep up the great work, the good work, and let's have a good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's definitely an honor and a privilege to be able to help with this. Thank you. So item number 6, proposed consent agenda item 6.1, approval of recording secretary Diane Parsons, and 6.2, review approval of January 21, 2025 and February 18, 2025 Provincial Métis Council draft minutes. Could I have a motion to accept that consent agenda? Or
Also move.
reason? Second?
I'll second it. Laura Burnoff, Northern Region 1.
Laura? Any questions, cares, concerns?
Question.
Questions called? All right.
Sorry,
Please
Mr.
vote.
Chair, I was trying to put my hand up and it won't let me.
Okay, who is that? Minister Pruden?
Yes, Minister Pruden.
Okay, go ahead. You can take down the poll, please.
And also myself, Tex Bouvier.
Okay. Go ahead, Minister Pruden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. I'm just again requesting that the minutes of January 21st is still requesting the item that I requested to have included in the minutes of January 21st, 2025. It was a statement made that should be just above number 11, just before we went in camera. I am again requesting that that public statement be referenced in the minutes. And this is my second request. Thank you.
So this was addressed, and standard practice has been to not have verbatim minutes, but if Hillary, did you want to speak to that? Okay.
Good morning, and thank you, Elder, for your prayer. I was listening in virtually. Thank you. And good morning, PMC, and all of my colleagues here today. This was addressed at the last PMC, and in fact, legal did consult with our note taker about the practices of creating minutes. It was confirmed that the minutes are not verbatim. They are not a transcript, but rather a summary. So it's not standard practice to look back on minutes that have been prepared by a note taker and ask that verbatim quotes be inserted, and that the direction that our note taker has provided us and legal does agree with that direction.
Mr. Chair, may I respond?
Yes, Ms. Pruden.
It was my understanding, you did explain that the last time, and it is in the minutes of the February 18th decision that council had clarified the verbatim part, but it was my understanding this is an agenda item, or wasn't an agenda item, and a public statement was made, and I requested that there be some kind of reference to that in the minutes. Otherwise, we're omitting documentation as to what transpired on January 21st, 2025 in a public forum. I'm again requesting that a reference be made somewhere before item 11 in camera as to the statement that was made on camera. Thank you.
I'm sure you're also welcome to clarify.
Okay. I don't believe they will be adding it to the minutes, but this was video recorded, and there is a video recording of this available if you need that for your records.
Mr. Chair, again, we seem to be stalling here with some technicalities that have already been dealt with. I was hoping and looking forward to a meeting that would be productive. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Dignas. Yeah, we have addressed this issue. Mr. Bouvier.
So good morning. Good morning. Nice to be part of this meeting today. But I have a point of clarification of February 18th minutes. In February 18, 2025, Métis Nation Saskatchewan Provincial Métis Council meeting minutes, section 8.6, elected official harassment policy, second paragraph, second bullet, it states that the recommendation that the policy should not be implemented retroactively, the word should allows for room for the policy to be implemented retroactively and does not capture the intent of our recommendation, which is the recommendation that the policy cannot be implemented retroactively. I believe that is illegal to make a policy and then implement it and retroactively. So I am asking for an amend to the wording, that recommendation that the policy should not be implemented retroactively is amended to read the recommendation that the policy cannot be implemented retroactively.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Bouvier. Minister Friesen, you're going to speak to that?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister Bouvier, for highlighting the discussion about the anti-harassment policy. There was a discussion on it. There was some resistance to bringing that policy into place for Métis Nation Saskatchewan. Given the circumstances, I do believe that it requires an additional discussion because it is important that this piece of this policy in particular is lacking for clarification in the M&S handbook for executives and elected officials. So to make a long story short, there was a discussion. However, the policy wasn't, it was pulled from the table, so there was no vote on it. So it remains on the table for the next incoming Provincial Métis Council.
Does that satisfy your concerns, Mr. Bouvier?
So I'm not sure about those changes. Are you thinking of making those changes on those minutes?
May I respond?
Mr. Friesen.
As stated, Minister Bouvier, it was clarified by legal counsel and outside legal that the policy would not be retroactive to any current or past harassment complaints.
So
it would only be after implementation, it would then be effective to address any future complaints, if in fact there was complaints that harassment is the topic. So it's for future, it's not for past complaints.
Okay, thank you. What do I see for hands up? Minister Gervais.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There are no minutes for our February 27th meeting. I see that it's archived, but there's nothing documenting, no minutes documenting that we held that meeting. Can somebody please see if we can get those minutes?
I've been told those minutes are not ready yet, Minister.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so seeing no other questions, could we have a vote to accept?
I have another question. My question wasn't answered properly. So the other question is, if I may.
Go ahead, Minister.
In the sixth paragraph at the end, at the anti-has effective February 27th, which appears to come out on a recommendation made in February 18 minutes, section 8.6, elected official harassment policy, paragraph 2, bullet 2, which states the recommendation that the policy should not be implemented retroactively, as I already voiced when we were approving the February 18, 2025 minutes. I believe that it is illegal to make a policy and then implement it retroactively. So I am asking for amendment for the last words in the sixth paragraph, which are effective February 27, 2025, be amended to this policy cannot be implemented retroactively because effective on March 17, 2025.
Okay, so Minister Bouvier, it's kind of a moot point because the policy has not been written nor approved, and it's going to go towards the next Provincial Métis Council post-election. So it's and it won't be retroactive, and it's not in play right now. So I think your concern has been dealt with.
Okay, I guess I just wanted to make some points. regarding, didn't make those points last time and wanted to make those points clear to the legal and to the staff. And they're the ones that are putting into place. And maybe they should look at it carefully so that way they don't make any mistakes regarding going back in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Okay, so seeing no more hands up, we're going to relaunch the poll to accept the consent agenda, please. Mr. Friesen in favor, Mr. President McCallum in favor. All right, so passed. Thank you very much. Item 7, requested action items from the February PMC meeting. They are in your online binder and they're for you. Any questions on that? All right, seeing none, we'll get into oh, sorry, Secretary McCallum.
Thank you. Good morning.
Sorry, Secretary, if when you're speaking, if you could turn on your camera, it would be much appreciated.
Thank you. Good morning. I have a question in regards to action items. Is item number 2, RFA 2502-1802. It was requested that it be reported back. Sorry, wrong one. I'll just go to the minutes because it's easier in the minutes. It's under 7. No, gee whiskers. Give me 1 minute. I'm sorry, I have these there was to be oh, it's number 1. Sorry, it's number 1. It was requested that staff distribute the Provincial Métis Council details of budgets relating to the self-government agreement signed by M&S. And under the status update, it says the path forward and do not have budgets attached. But in one of our meetings, I believe it was the January meeting, it was indicated at that time that there were budgets attached, whether it be a side table for land or whatever. We were going to be provided that, and I don't know if that will be brought up within Minister Friesen's budget.
Mr. Chair, please allow Minister Friesen or the presentation.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
Minister Dignes, you got to put your hand up, please.
Okay, but Mr. Chair, you also asked for cameras to be turned on.
Yes, then Secretary McCallum, please turn on your camera when you're speaking.
And so it was requested, and so I'm going to only assume that will be brought up in the budget discussions under Minister Friesen's report. And if not, then can we bring that back up into our attention, please? Thank you.
What's the question?
She was asking about the self-government agreement budgets that were related to the self-government agreement signed by the MNS.
All the agreements are reflected in the budget. Yes, they are.
Okay, yeah, she will talk about it in the budget sector.
Quickly, but generally.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. All right, so seeing no other hands, we'll go into resolution 8.1, draft MNS operating budget for 2025-2026. Whereas the Métis Nation Saskatchewan MNS recognizes the distinctiveness of Métis identity, culture, values, and language, inclusive of knowledge keepers, les vieux monde, the old ones or elders, youth, women, and distinctive resources, which is incorporated into proposals and decisions of the Provincial Métis Council, PMC. Whereas the Constitution of the Métis Nation Saskatchewan in Article 2.10 states that all budgets shall be determined by the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly based upon the recommendations of the Provincial Métis Council. Whereas the Métis Nation Saskatchewan adheres to established financial standards and accounting policies for all funds received on behalf of Métis citizens in Saskatchewan. Whereas our government is committed to delivering on the commitments made to our funding partners and citizens. Whereas the M&S Finance Committee has reviewed and unanimously approved the draft budget 2025-2026 at their duly held meeting on March 3rd, 2025, FC-250303-03, and whereas the PMC has reviewed the draft budget 2025-2026 at a technical session on March 10, 2025. Therefore, be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council approves the draft budget 2025-2026 as presented at their duly held meeting on March 18, 2025, and recommends it to the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly for ratification at the next sitting of the Assembly. And further be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council approves and recommends of the draft budget 2025-2026 within their authority as directors of the Métis Nation Secretariat, Inc., as per the bylaws of the Métis Nation Secretariat, Inc. Dated this 18th day of March, 2025, moved by Eastern Region 3, Marg Friesen, seconded by Loretta King, Western Region 1. Mr. Friesen, still so move.
I so move, Mr. Chair. However, we haven't gone through the budget for the sake of the people online and the citizens who are watching.
Yeah.
So we would like to present the budget in a transparent way. And yes, the resolution does state that we had a technical briefing with my colleagues, the Provincial Métis Council. However, I would like to introduce this budget to our Métis citizens and be able to go through some of the highlights of the budget before we pass the budget.
Absolutely. Loretta King, Western Region 1, still so second.
That's correct.
Thank you. So, Mr. Friesen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you for all those who are online and who are joining us this morning. I echo the words of President McCallum that the Ministry of Finance is responsible for the funding allocations and the finances for Métis Nation Saskatchewan. I want to share with you that we've built our team with skilled, trained, effective people in their roles. I'd like to also introduce Director of Finance, Echo Ken, who is going to lead the highlights for us today. And I just wanted to share with you some of the changes that we've made to this year's budget. And I'm very pleased to introduce this budget as a balanced budget for this fiscal upcoming year, and our budget reflects $276 million. That's a long cry from when we first started as a Provincial Métis Council, and as this government grows, so will the funding and so will our finance portfolio build in responsibility as well. I'm very pleased to present this budget with you today. There are, of course, some changes made to the budget based on funding and new funding pots that have been reflective of our advocacy. I want to thank the Provincial Métis Council for their advocacy efforts in their own ministries, the ministries that they are responsible, such as housing and social infrastructure, education, early learning, youth, and a number of other ministries that have made our government responsive to the needs of our citizens. Very pleased. We have heard the concerns of local presidents and communities, and supporting locals to deliver effective programs in culture and language and family support and child support, ensuring that they have safe places to go to with childcare. So we've increased in that ministry, we've increased childcare spaces by 250, and thanks to the ministry for responding to that need. We've also are continuing other huge programs that were implemented several years ago and continue to respond to the needs of homelessness, people who are at risk of being houseless, first-time home buyers program, ensuring that Métis citizens who want to own their own home and build within their community, they have the opportunity to do so. We are also responding to the health needs of our citizens, and primarily in mental health and addictions. I always say this is the best kept secret with Métis Nation, because we just hit the ground running with mental health and addiction support in communities, primarily in urban centers in Prince Albert, Regina, and Saskatoon. We have launched a mobile outreach program where people, not only Métis citizens, but other people in community, to come and receive support when there are challenges in their lives and when they're struggling. And we wrap around that support and connect them and navigate the systems with them and provide that support in housing, in education, in navigating healthcare and social services. So we're very pleased to have those programs up and running in community. I'm so proud of the mental health and addictions team and the Ministry of Health by providing those essential services. And the services will grow. We have some exciting news to share. Perhaps post-election, health is still diligently working on benefits that will support elders in community and elders who want to age in place. So we're very pleased we'll be making an announcement there. We have sites on, of course, a healing lodge, a treatment recovery center for people who are entering into a recovery journey for mental health and addiction services. So more news on that to come. We have been working diligently to raise the capital in that regard, and we're so close to making that announcement. I'm very pleased with the partnerships that we have had and the negotiations that we have with our partner, the federal government, the government of Canada, and the provincial government of Saskatchewan. We are also increasing our capacity by ensuring that people have access to becoming Métis citizens and the registry. So there is a number here, increased capacity of 5,000 registered citizens for the citizenship part of our government. And also the work continues to move forward on treaty, on our self-government journey. And I know all of you support that journey. And we are focused on ensuring that we sign treaty, that we're focused on the delivery, because it's going to benefit not only our citizens, but our communities at large. And in general, it's going to impact how we do business with our partners in government and other stakeholders. I'm very pleased to present this budget to you today. I know the economic climate is not great for citizens. However, we are working towards more benefits that citizens can access and ensuring that the strain on your pocketbook is less by offering programs and service that will be delivered in communities and all citizens have access to it. So Marcy, thank you very much. And I will turn it over to Chair and my colleague Echo to deliver the highlights of the budget. Marcy.
Mr. Chair, please.
Yes, Mr. President.
I'd like to say a few words. You know, you can see me clapping, you hear clapping, and I've taught a lot of people at the assembly to be able to maybe be proud and happy in regards to how far we've come. But a lot of times little politics gets in the way. I can see myself in the screen there giving the pump, which I'm so happy about in regards to what we've achieved in the last 8 years with our finance minister, plus our team and our staff member, and I'll continue to do that. Our citizens need to see, they need to hear. And you're right, Minister, in regards to educating our folks, our citizens, to be able to know what's available for them. and that we will deliver and we have delivered. And yes, although I mentioned gaps previously, but the key component to success has always been money. And we've done a great job to be able to negotiate with the federal government, provincial governments, industry, institutions, and they're supporting us in a very good way. So I'll continue to clap as we are ending this term, our term, because we have a lot of success, and to be proud of that success in regards to what we've done, where we've been, and where we're going. So with that, Minister, thank you very much. Let's give her a hand. Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you. So just FYI, folks, for those that have tuned in online, we'd like to welcome the 86 people that have joined us. That's awesome. And just for the record, there's no, this is being broadcast live and being recorded. So please refrain from videoing and or taking pictures. Thank you very much. So Echo, we're going to get the highlights from you and then we'll go into questions.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for your time and attendance to today's PMC meeting and for the budget presentation. I will take you to the budget report directly to page 4, please. Oh, actually, page 3. That's right. Page 3 of the document, page 2 of the report itself. One more. Thank you. Right there. So this is our summarized and consolidated budget for our current year. And the presentation or the structure of this report is that we have revenue on the top portion and our ministries and programs at the bottom as where the resources from the revenues are allocated to. So our current year's largest funding source is still the Government of Canada's grants. We are expecting to receive $144 million in 2026. And in addition to that, we have secured some other revenue sources in total of $11.9 million. And that brings us to the total revenue of $56.5 million. In the expenses section, you will see admin fee recoveries. That will be the admin fees that's provided by various grants and funding streams to allow us to provide internal services such as finance, HR, legal support, and various other internal governmental services to carry out the function of the government. And transfer-ins are in-kind transfers of admin fees, but to specific areas such as publications, storytelling, and graphic designs, and some of our property management services. And after the two top lines, we'll get into the other expenses by ministry section of our budget report. And as you can see, each line is one of the ministries or one of the main programs that we would like to highlight and present in our annual budget. And the center column is our current year's numbers. I would like to draw attention to. So as you can see, all of and as the Minister Friesen has mentioned before, all of our revenues and expenses presented here are confirmed and based on signed contracts or funding agreements. So there is clear mandates and directions from our funders, from the PMC and our leadership to allocate those budgets and carry out different operations and activities and programs to our citizens. I would like to bring to your attention that this year we don't have any drastic changes to our operations. There is no new ministries budgeted, and the allocation of the funding once again is according to the funding agreement. However, we do have new initiatives and new projects that are focusing on helping the locals to continue to reinforce their capacity and broaden their reaches to our citizens, and providing services to our citizens and communities. So we can quickly let everyone have a chance to read through page 1 of the budget summary, and then we can move to page 2 of the summary. And page 2 of the summary is the continuance of the continuation of the page 1 with the rest of our ministries, programs, and internal services departments. I would like to highlight that for current year, the one activities or one new operations that were not new, but not an annual operation is the elections. So we set aside the budget for our elections, and the funding source for this election is actually our self-funded interest income revenue or revenue stream. We decided to use that just as once again, it's a reflection of our intention to really focus on allocating the funding streams and budget on our programs, on our ministries, operations, and supporting the citizens. And MNS as a government will generate and use the self-generated revenue and sustainable funding source for activities and projects like that. And last but not least, I would also like to draw your attention to the capital expenditures transfer line at the bottom section of this page, this report. So this year, we also expected to spend $83.67 million on our capital projects, finishing multiple ELCC centers and some housing projects throughout the province to support our citizens. One more thing to highlight is that our carry forward from prior year is sitting at 132 million, and our goal is to fully utilize the carry forwards and really carry out what we're mandated to do and to deliver, and run a balanced budget to maximize our impact and the benefits to our citizens. And I believe that is the highlight of our budget summary, and the rest of the report, it will be available. Yeah, it will be available for everyone to review, and it just contains more of the schedules for various ministries. We can quickly go through to page 5, please, to show some, page 5. To have some visual charts to help everyone to see the growth of our government and our operations. It has a nice upward trend, and also the page after that will show our continuous emphasis on providing grants to our citizens. We have multiple ministries and funding streams that allows us to deliver benefits directly to our citizens. You know, especially in family, early educations, and sports and culture side of the or areas, sorry. And yeah, so it's very encouraging to see that so many aspects that are taking care of the most important aspects for our citizens, such as their family, their health, their well-being, and our environment, and you know, including and also the sports and recreations. You know, those areas are well supported, and we're continuing to look for new areas to add our supports to the citizens and community. Okay, so the page following this is the grants to regions and locals. Again, the totals is $13.1 million that are available to our regions and locals. We really have heard the voice of our regions and locals, and we have come up with different supports, not only in the forms of grants, but also in working with them and collaborating with them. And we'll get into some of that details later. And we can move on to the next page. And it's the grants to external parties. We see a decrease from current year compared to prior year. It's just the shift of our attention and focus. And also, we really want to make sure that our grants and our resources are put towards enriching our citizens and communities' lives. And for the grants to external parties, they are more for direct contributions to our partners and some of the external education programs, and such as schools and various schools projects to support them to help out the future of our society and our community to grow. All right, and the remainder of the document are highlights for each ministries, and we don't really have to get into the details. Yeah, but I see there are some hands raised in the audience, and wondering we can. I am done. Yeah, I'm finished, and we can probably. I will return the floor back to the chair, and we. Thank you.
Thank you, Echo, and thank you, Minister Friesen. So we'll go to questions now. I believe Minister Bouvier, you're first.
Well, again, good morning. Thank you, Elder Fleury, for the prayer. We talked lots about everything that we have done for the Métis Nation, and now we have accomplished a lot with the Métis Nation, but there's still some gaps. And the main gap, I guess, I echoed for since 2017 that I don't think maybe someone's not listening properly. It's our locals very concerned because they don't have core funding, administration, training, or workshops. And we provide programs and services to these locals. And these locals are not even standing. So I'm not sure how you're doing this, because a lot of us in our regions, we have only one or two locals that are standing, and they need that proper governance. We need to echo that, because that's what you talked about is you wanna work with locals. Well, they're not going to work with them with programs and services. You got to give them governance. You got to provide, in other words, to provide that service and follow that protocol, and that way we can deal with organizations, industry, and government, and also duty to consult. Everything's going upstairs, but downstairs we have to wait. At locals, regions, we're well organized. We're well organized because we have governance. We have our own money to open offices, but we still have to look at the locals to make sure that they implement an interim policy clause, so that way they can follow rules regarding M&S, the region, because there's a lot of breaches regarding people coming into our territory without even me knowing. All of a sudden there's somebody there. We want to work together. Okay, let's work together. Let's do things together. I provide you this information 2017. I'm providing it now at 2025. Provide the locals with capacity so that way they can work with you. They all voted you in. So you haven't done your job with the locals. You've done your job with programs and services. But what about the locals? I scream and beg you every day, every meeting, that the locals. But now I'm not begging anymore. I'm going to tell you that we have to do this. We have to change these ways to help these locals. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Tex. I think Matt's going to address this.
Okay. Thank you, Minister, for the feedback. And I do know, the conversation on locals will be a theme today. It's been a theme for a little bit. And so I did want to provide an update. And so this is going to be repetitive, but it's worth saying again. And I think as folks see from the budget on governance, you did talk about capacity. It's a very limited budget. The governance money that we get from Canada is a fraction, a small fraction, like about 5% of what we actually need realistically and deserve as Métis people to run a government. And it's been stuck. There's been no inflation on that money whatsoever. And that's what pays for the $160,000 in regional capacity funding that each region gets, the compensation for all of our elected officials, the MNLAs, the PMCs, all of that stuff. Running the actual core government is what those dollars are used for. And we even use some of the admin fee recovery dollars just to shore that up. So it's certainly never been, and we're all M&S here. I mean, we're working for you. And so at the end of the day, it's never been about not wanting to provide capacity funding for locals. It's always been about not having it, because so much of our dollars, as we state, is programmatic. It's restricted funding, and it's given to us by a funder who says you're going to do X, Y, and Z with this. Governance capacity isn't one of the things that's on their list, and so it is challenging. But I think there are bright spots, in the future, and not even in the future, happening right now. We now have a table that we're sitting at that is our fiscal financing agreement table with Canada. We're actively negotiating capacity for locals. It's something that table that we've brought to the forefront. I joined that table, I guess, this fall with Hillary, and we haven't been to a meeting yet where we haven't talked about capacity for locals. We're modeling what that looks like. We really wanted to come out to everybody and start getting feedback from locals on what the needs are, so we could make sure we get that number exactly right. But an impending election and everything else, the timing just wasn't right. So we are going to consult and engage with locals after the election, when it's a better time for us to be out in community, talk about needs, really kind of share the draft model that our modelers have developed for local capacity. And then we're going to take that feedback back, refine it, and continue to go to that negotiation table on behalf of all the locals, because they do need capacity. They deserve the capacity. And we finally got the table to be able to have that conversation.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Mr. Chair, may I add?
Yeah, Mr. Friesen.
Thank you, Minister Bouvier. We hear you loud and clear. I know you're a strong advocate for local capacity. We hear that often, and thanks for keeping it focus for us. I just want to add on to what Matt says. He's absolutely correct on the core governance dollars that we receive as a government to operate our government. So the resources there and how we split the pie continues to be on our minds and a focus to ensure that our government is still operational and that the public services is able to continue on the mandate of Métis Nation Saskatchewan. Just bare minimum, locals who meet the criteria, minimum criteria to offer cultural events or programs, activities for their local community is a priority for us. So we have adjusted the budget to ensure that is available to locals who would meet that minimum criteria. There is, of course, an agreement that is made with Métis Nation Saskatchewan to a local. It's not just, a blind in good faith that we offer funding to locals. They must meet the criteria, and there is minimum criteria to access funds from any funding pot that is accessible for locals or regions. So we are consistent with that messaging as Matt has indicated, and will continue to advocate for local capacity at the federal government level and at that negotiating table. Marcy.
Can I reiterate? Can I just ask one question?
Okay.
Where does the regions follow through when it comes for programs and services? If a local is not standing,
Then they don't access. If they're not standing, they don't access funds. They can't.
so if they're accessing funds through the Métis Nation without my knowing, is there some kind of a penalty?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I understand you clearly, Minister Bouvier, any local in good standing can access funds that are accessible for locals or regions. It's not necessary that they go through the region. However, it is, a common courtesy that locals at the regional council level collaborate with the region or perhaps a neighboring local. We do encourage that and to inform the region that they have access to the dollars. And, as part of regional council governance, it's just a common courtesy that locals report on what they're doing for their citizens and their locals. That's the expectation. And I know that there is some pressure points there for some regions and their regional council table, but that is encouraged to continue to have open communication at all levels of government. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Secretary McCallum. And can we get your cameras on when you speak, please? Secretary McCallum?
I think there's a note at the bottom.
Oh, her Zoom quit on her. Okay, I'll put her back on the list down here. Minister Gervais.
Good morning, Chair. Just a minute here. I'm just bringing up my camera.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning, Chair. Thank you, Elder Norman, for the prayer, and thank everybody for being here this morning. Thank you, Minister Friesen, for the budget and for the presentation. It's really actually grateful for us to be able to have this size of a budget as we move forward. I have a couple questions. And the first one relates to the Ministry of Post-Secondary Education. If Echo could maybe bring that up, or somebody could bring that up. on the screen, or if Minister Friesen could look at it, 2024, 2025, $9.7 million was our budget. And I'd like to look at the 2025, 2026 budget, 27.7 million. So could I get an explanation of the 9.7? Post-secondary education, 9.7 budget, $9.7 million budget for the 2024, 2025. If I could just get a quick rundown of what this entails, and then next year's budget. I think it's important that our citizens know with post-secondary education what the dollars represent and where they go to. There seems to be an arbitrary number running around out in our communities, about $89 million in post-secondary education. And I don't see it in our budget. So I just want an explanation so we can clarify to all of our citizens and the elected leaders here the exact budget that we have. 2024, 2025, 9.7 million post-secondary. Could I get a breakdown of what that was and where it went to?
Okay, Minister.
Thank you, Minister Gervais, for pointing that out. That is a good point. I've also received the same inquiry about $89 million. So I'm going to let Deputy Chief Daryl take that one.
Hi, Minister Gervais, Daryl Baslak here. So the number of 89 million is correct. That's the number that's over 10 years. So each year we receive $8.9 million for post-secondary education. And as you would know, we work with our service provider, Gabriel Dumont Institute, in order to have a process where university students will apply into those dollars and they're distributed each year. We continue to advocate with the federal government around the amount of dollars that are allocated, being the 8.9 million a year, as we have more and more students who are accessing the programs. Does that answer your question?
Yes, actually it does. Thank you very much, Daryl. And thank you, Minister Friesen. So that answers the 89 million. So it's 8.9 million. If I'm correct, that's the education accord. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. Then when I look at the 2025, 2026 budget, we now have allocated 27.6 million for post-secondary education. Can we get a little bit of a breakdown on that?
Certainly, Minister Gervais. The change year over year is related to the ISET dollars, the training dollars that are now coming through the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. In the past, they went directly to Gabriel Dumont Institute, and that change was made a number of months ago. So those are the dollars, roughly $14 million that come through Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. And again, we work with our service provider, Gabriel Dumont Institute, in order to distribute those funds. And I think it's also important to note that in good partnership with Gabriel Dumont Institute, we funnel those dollars to them and are not recovering any administrative fee as we wanted to keep things as they were in the past before when the dollars were going to Gabriel Dumont Institute.
Thank you very much, Daryl, for that explanation. And sorry, I do have two other questions. The second question is regarding infrastructure. So I'm just wondering where on the budget, what budget line that would be in, or what department that would be in, and if we could look at those numbers. I think it's housing. Am I correct?
Mr. Bouvet, this is Echo here. Thank you for the question. Yes, the infrastructure is spread out, but it also has its own line under internal services.
Okay.
So the infrastructure dollars are for various capital, for their services provided to the government infrastructures, such as our We have a schedule. Our various projects and facilities. Yes.
Excellent.
Right there on page 23. So there's a breakdown of what those dollars entail. So majority of them are capital expenditures, and some of them covers our employees' salaries, and also for some of the large capital projects, we are incurring higher professional fees for engineering and architectural services and legal services as well.
So Echo, and maybe this might help. Do we have just kind of a number that 2024, 2025 infrastructure, what our budget was, and then our projected budget for 2025, 2026?
2024, 2025, the projected budget is not in this report, but we are expecting to have some of that carry, a significant amount of carry forward due to various reasons. And then that will bring us to a infrastructure budget of $13 million. And again, that is presented previously in the sub-schedule with a breakdown, and then the capital budget of 83 million that's adding on top, and infrastructure, the deputy chief of infrastructure will be leading those overseeing those initiatives, and actually Matt can also provide a bit more explanations here.
It's just a clarifying question, Minister. Are you wanting to know, when we talk about infrastructure, are you wanting to know more about what was our capital expenditure budget, like the money that we actually had for builds? Is that what you're wanting to zero in on?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so Echo, maybe on the bottom line, it might be good to go through that capital expenditure fund balance.
So the 83.6 million is our capital expenditure budget for this year. Minister Gervais, what is the specific question? Do you want to see the breakdown of each project?
I just wanted to really see the numbers, and I say that because again, there's been questions and arbitrary comments made that there's $200 million in infrastructure, and so I just wanted to see the numbers myself. Right? Is there $200 million in infrastructure? Obviously, there doesn't seem to be. So that's what I was questioning. Is comments that have come to me, people asking those questions, and it's really important that as an elected member that I'm able to say to people, to our citizens, our budget is barely $200 million, let alone just infrastructure. So I'm just marking these down here so that 81 million was the capital expenditure from 2024, 2025. 83.6 million is the projected capital expenditure for 2025, 2026. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I needed clarification for that. And one last comment, and I know that we will continue to echo this. Sorry, no pun on your name, Echo. I do apologize. But we will continue to echo this as through time, for the next 20 years probably. But it goes back to what Minister Bouvier said, that we used to tease him at the table and call him Mr. Capacity. And yes, Minister Bouvier, I used to kind of like shake my head and say, give it time, give it time. But we have had almost 8 years at this. I do know that it is tough to get money at the local level, but I am very concerned, that the money is drying up at the local level. And that I believe is probably the most important place that we should be focusing on, because that's where our citizens are. And our citizens who are trying to reconnect with the nation are looking for on the ground, supports, whether it's cultural, whether it's mental health. Minister Friesen mentioned, that she's looking at, negotiating dollars for more programs and services in that space and place, which is fantastic. But we don't seem to see a lot of supports in our communities for the local communities regarding culture, language, in order to continue to maintain our identity. I'm not going to say we've done a good job. We have. But we like to talk about that we have 350 employees. As we move forward, we need to look at, and we've brought this word forward before, the potential decentralization of it, allowing our communities to be part of, number one, and more importantly, to have those dollars on the ground supporting our locals. So I too am going to start to you guys are going to get tired of me because I'm going to be miss capacity. It's really important. I am concerned as our UPIP has sunset. We're already starting to look at where do we get those dollars from? How do we ensure that money's coming into our local communities? Without those cultural programmings and teachings on the ground, as we move forward in 10 years, if we don't have our local communities educated and understanding our cultural ways of knowing and doing, then we're nothing but an organization. So on that
Thank
note,
you. Thank you, Minister. Minister Friesen's going to respond. Then we're going to take a 15-minute break as per the agenda. And when we come back, it'll be Secretary McCallum and then Minister Pruden, and the list that continues. So Minister Friesen, and then we'll take a 15-minute rest.
Thank you, and thank you, Associate Minister Gervais, for your comment. And as mentioned before, this government is responsive to the needs of citizens at the grassroots level, in community, and at large throughout the province. We have shifted our budget focus to ensure that there is capacity for locals to access at all levels, from ministries that have made this a priority for their service delivery or for their program delivery. Language preservation and language rejuvenation is, of course, a focus. So there will be access to dollars to ensure that Michif language is offered, and workshops are offered for those citizens who want to learn their language, embrace the language, and also to establish that within their families. So that's just one example that this budget reflects, is language and culture preservation. So locals do have access to dollars when it comes to cultural activities at the grassroots level and in community. A number of locals have taken advantage of that capacity in the previous fiscal year, and there will just be more access to more program dollars for the future in this budget. This budget reflects exactly that, Minister Gervais. We are focused on building an effective government, listening to citizens and local leadership, that this was a gap. And now we've heard that. And so now we have adjusted the budget to reflect that. So there will be more information to come when those programs are ready for delivery, and locals will have access to those dollars. Marcy.
All right, thanks, folks. We'll take a 15-minute break till 10:45. So we're just gonna pause, enjoy yourself, have a fresh tea and freshen up, and we'll be at 10:45. Thank you. We back live? Excellent. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you had a good break and are all freshened up. We'll get back into the list here. And we'll start with Secretary McCallum. We understand you got booted, so you're back. Your turn there, Secretary McCallum.
Thank
Oh, and
you,
just-
Chair.
Yeah, and again, if you could turn on your cameras when you're speaking, that'd be great. And then also we have to, we've already addressed the local issue. So let's not go there again. And then if anything's already been covered, please try to keep your questions that are new or relevant that haven't been asked yet. So Secretary McCallum, floor is yours.
Thank you. Just in regards to your comment, I thank you. But there is a wide area for the locals, but I will not go into that area. Thank you. My question is in regards to the social infrastructure grants to citizens. And I'm looking on page 8, that's where it shows on my scroll on the pie chart. Right there up in the corner. You just passed it. No. Right, right there in the bottom, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, right. Okay, I have a question in regards to that portion. In the previous budget, we provided $3.8 million to the such as the home repair grant, and this time around, the proposed budget is $900,000. And I understand that there are new programs in here that there are new dollars in this fiscal year budget, such as the energy efficiency grant of $7 million and the the SAS Power HEI grant of $220,000. But, you know, we receive under the accord of $12.5 million, and part of the housing budget is for the home grants, and we know homeowners as well. But my question is in regards to the home improvement grant, the home repair grant, because I don't know when it changed, but I've gotten multiple calls from citizens that it's decreased for the South. They are only receiving up to $10,000, and the Northern citizens are receiving $15,000. And I know that this is on a 10-year agreement that federal government put on a national level of $500 million over a 10-year period. And it came in effect out of the Métis Accord in that. So that's one of my questions in regards to where did the other dollars get allocated in regards to the housing budget?
Okay, and I believe we're going to throw that to Kelly. Kelly Pruden.
And then I'll ask my second question after that.
Okay, thank you, Secretary. Kelly, are you able to speak to that?
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. So the home repair grant, that's being stacked against the Greener Home Initiative, and that's why it was decreased this for this coming year. And Matt Gadet's online as well. And so each homeowner, and Matt, if you can jump on, Matthew Gadet, is eligible for up to $25,000, I believe, when you combine the two. And so those basic emergency home repairs, and then the Greener Home Initiative will cover, any of the energy efficiency items. And so outside of furnaces and hot water heaters, it'll look at windows, energy efficiency initiatives.
Yeah, I can add a bit more to that. So the ERP changed April of last year. So actually the budget for ERP this fiscal year, 24-25, was only 800,000. But we went over that a little bit, which is why it's 900,000 for next year. And the reasoning for decreasing the ERP grant this year was to make room for the new home efficiency initiative. As you can see, it's a significant budget of 7 million for next year, and it was about 5 million this year.
Okay, thank you. Secretary McCallum, your second question?
Just to ask for clarification. So the $7 million of the energy efficient grant, so all of these items under the social infrastructure grant, Kelly, is that all that comes out of the housing budget, or are any of these items new dollars that we may have received from the province or federal, such as an example is the SAS Power one, right? You obviously know that's new, above that 12.5 million.
Yes, Secretary. So the energy efficiency grant was new funding for the current fiscal year. And Matthew, when did the GHI grant come in? Was it this
fiscal year, 24-25?
Current as well. Yeah, that's what I thought. So they're both.
Just to clarify, the SAS Power grant is that's just a straight revenue of 220,000, and that they've agreed to stack that into the HEI program because they really liked our HEI program, and that is intended only for citizens who are on electric heat only.
Thank you. I'd like to do a recommendation to the department itself. When our citizens are filling out the applications, it's showing only $10,000. So if it could be more simplified, saying that there is additional dollars if it comes up to $25,000, because our citizens they don't know that. And so maybe say, okay, 10,000 is for your shingles. The remaining $15,000 can be for windows, doors, something in regards to the energy efficiency portion of the home improvement. That would be one of my recommendations, because it's not presented that way today.
Just to respond to that, Secretary, we'll take a look at, we'll review the application process and make sure that everything's clear.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Yep.
My second question was in regards to the $1.7 million that is being proposed out to Batoche. Is that coming out of our cultural dollars? Where do those dollars come out of?
I think Matt will speak to that.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Thank you.
so we don't actually receive any defined cultural dollars. In terms of this budget here, this next budget with UPIP gone, UPIP was the only cultural funding that we've ever received. And so yeah, just the clarity on cultural funding. The second piece is that 1.7, it comes from a combination of spaces. So some of the components geared towards kids would come from the ELCC budget. There's some of the activities that are geared towards environment that would come from the environment budget. And a large chunk of that funding does come from admin fee recovery. So there's also, of course, sponsorship dollars associated with Batosh, which we're always trying to grow year after year. It's a huge festival, though. I mean, largest Indigenous festival in Canada, as far as we know. So yeah, that's admin fee recovery would be one of the major sources. Sponsorship, ELCC, and some from environment.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Secretary. Minister Pruden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 3 questions to ask regarding the proposed budget. The first one is for the language programming. On page 2, the budget, excuse me. On page 2, the budget states 7.3 million. Yeah, that's correct. You got that highlighted there. And then on page 7, where it's the locals and regions, under the language grants, there's 480,000 for a NEST program. And then there's local grants just over $1 million. So $1 million, say slightly over 100 locals, that's around $10,000 per local then for those grants. So the 7.3 million minus the 1.05, there's a remaining budget of 6,250,000. And on page 10, it states, if you can go to page 10, please. Okay, on number 3 on language, it's organize and fund community-based language programs, including M&S-led language camps, collaborative camps with affiliates, and grant support for local and community-led initiatives. So is the remaining 6.250 million specifically for M&S-led language camps? That's my first question.
Okay, who can speak to that? Anybody? Is that?
Is
Do you want to?
language, Daryl?
Yeah, I can speak to a part of it there, and I just want to double check to see. I think Andrea Fiss is online, but I just want to double check.
Language.
I can say a few words too.
Right. Okay. Well, Minister Burnoff, maybe if you want to go first, then I can add in as well.
Okay. Yeah. I met with my manager, and then she explained all this to me. So as you all know, at the ELCC conference, there was quite a few language resources given out. So some of the budget is on the ELCC, and some of it would be with culture and language with the wages. And with this conference, I guess it really, the participants were so happy to receive all these resources that they can take back to their schools. And in terms of language camps, it's not only camps like the one that Comfy gets, has, but it's camps that could be initiated anywhere, like in halls and churches. So it doesn't have to be an elaborate. And it is true that they're going to be giving 10,000 to local grants to the locals and regions, but of course they have to follow the same process that they follow with UPIP, where they'd have to make a proposal and make sure that the objectives, the outcomes are there, and it won't be just sending 10,000 to each local. So you all know the process. And I don't know what else was proposed, but maybe Daryl, if you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Minister Burnoff. I would add thanks for the question, Minister Pruden. So around the language nests and the local grants, as indicated, part of the process that we want to do with that $1.5 million is to create language nests, which is a proven way of language acquisition within communities. So working with our locals, we would go out as our language team, utilizing language dollars from the budget, but go out to work with the locals, get them prepared for what might be needed, tap into their expertise as well, and then leave that nest for the locals to be able to develop. And that's when the local grants would come in to be able to support the locals that have uptaken the opportunity to do that. So that's the language grants to regions and locals aspect that you were asking about. And I'm not sure if Minister Burnoff's was answered your question around the other dollars, Minister Pruden.
I just kind of wanted a bit of clarification because there's 6.250 million left once you take the nesting program and the local grants out. There's 6.2 million left, and Minister Burnoff had stated that it would be for staff and conference, but like I said, on page 10, it does reference Métis MNS-led language camps. So I just wondered if MNS themselves are going to be delivering language camps rather than the locals, or with the locals, or that's the part that I'm confused about.
Great. Well, thank you for the clarification. We've heard loud and clear around working with our locals, so that's the language nest aspect of it. When we talk about language camps, it's not MNS led. I'll give you an example. We are supporting Suntep with some of their language acquisition and the work that they're doing. Also supporting resources, which is a large part of what the cost is, that as we prepare the resources for locals and others, and then staffing as well. So those are aspects of what's included within that breakdown. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me in every last detail, but that would comprise some of it. But no, we want to work with the locals on the development of the language nests and support them where they would ask for support. We certainly know that some locals are well on their way. They just want us to, frankly, stay out of the way. And so we hear that as well.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Daryl. I'm glad the message is clear from the locals. I've got two on page 11, under mental health and addictions. It's number 2, sorry. Can you make it a bit bigger, please? Thanks. Support women, children, and 2S LGBTQIA communities by developing transitional housing units with cultural focused programs and services in the 3 urban centers across Saskatchewan. I am aware that there is a transition shelter going to be built in Saskatoon. So this is good news that there is transitional housing units coming also to Regina and Prince Albert. I'm just curious as to why this is under mental health and addictions. Yeah, and are we going to see the other two urban centers transition shelters in the next fiscal year?
Mr. Friesen?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Minister Pruden for your question. The reason it's under mental health and addictions is because that's where the funding, when we propose transitional housing for to us LGBTQ women and children, or children are affected by addictions. The proposal was successful, and we did receive confirmation of a agreement that addresses specifically this target demographic. So that's why it's under mental health and addictions, because the funding was actually accessed by mental health and addictions department, but we have collaborated with social infrastructure as well. So yeah, the facilities will be built, and we've received confirmation of that capital investment.
Thank you very much, Marg, for that clarification. One last question. Page 3, I believe it is. There's a budget line there for urban councils, 150,000. I am aware that 150,000 was also there last year. So my question is, why was the 150 that was not used rolled over into this year's, as there has been discussion about expanding the urban council scope, that including some other larger communities. And so I'm wondering if that 150 that was there in the last budget that didn't get used, why it couldn't have been rolled into the urban councils for this fiscal year, because we're going to have more communities discussing what urban councils might look like. And then my last question is, this budget that's being presented today will also come to the MNLA to be passed in November. So those are my last two questions.
Mr.
Passing of
Friesen.
the MNLA and urban councils.
Thank you, Mr. Friesen.
Thank you, Minister Pruden. The urban council budgeted amount, yes, you are correct. It was unused for its purpose and remains as a carry forward into this budget year. And I'm going to let Matt respond to that. But before Matt does, I just want to assure you that, of course, the budget will be ratified by the Legislative Assembly at the next Legislative Assembly sitting in the fall. So I'll refer it to Matt for the urban council discussion. Marcy.
Okay, thank you, Minister. So basically, we had 150 allocated for this year for work on exploration of urban councils, and we're carrying forward that amount into next year. We didn't use this year's allotment, so we didn't think it was appropriate to allocate more for next year. And I think at the end of the day, like if we were to look at, say, maybe bringing on places like North Battleford and different things like that, I think that we could still look at scoping dollars in when we get there if we max out on budget. But given that we have so many competing interests for a very limited kind of governance dollars, and yeah, I guess that's in the governance budget, we just felt it was more prudent to budget at 150, look at spending that, and then if we do need resources, we'll come back to the drawing board on that throughout the year, which additional resources for that would likely be, I don't think it would be more than 100,000 more if we needed it. But yeah, we were just thinking at the time, we didn't use it. It's a tight budget already on governance. We shouldn't ask for more. And then your later questions, I'll just answer those now. Yes, this budget will come forward to the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly in September. for ratification. So it gets approved by PMC, ratified by MNLA. So it will come forward for ratification in September. And then, yeah, I guess this current year's audited financial statements will be what we present in November. So.
Thank you. All right, Minister McLennan.
Okay. Can you?
We get your camera on, Minister, or is it on? I can't see
I
it.
think it's on. I have it
Okay.
on. Okay, now I gotta go back to my notes. I have a few questions. Minister Friesen, we have the draft budget online, but are we gonna receive the book? When will we be receiving the book that we got before?
Yep, go ahead, Minister.
Thank you, Minister McLennan. Yes, you will receive a hard copy of the budget. It's currently in production. So I will refer to ECHO as to when that will be prepared and you will receive a hard copy of the budget.
Okay, thank you. Did ECHO want to say anything or no?
ECHO, any idea when that may be ready?
We will make sure that it's ready, and then by the time of end of next week, you will receive the hard copy, despite where your physical location.
Okay, thank you. Another question. So I was sick yesterday and as the Minister of ELCC, I've asked 4 times to see my budget because I am responsible for my budget. And I have never seen it up until the other day. I was given a meeting time for 11 o'clock yesterday for an hour to go over my budget for ELCC. I was sick yesterday and I couldn't do it. Like, as the Minister of ELCC, and I've said this over and over before, we should be involved in projecting budgets, anything that happens within our ministry. Like, people ask me questions and I can't give them an answer. And they'll say to me, well, you're the minister, you should know. Yes, I agree. And I find it very hard for me to approve something when I haven't seen or been a part of. So again, 5th time I'm telling you, it's too late now because this is our last meeting, but hopefully in the next term when people get in, when new people get in, if they are the minister, they will be able to get all the information they know that they are entitled to and be a part of. And I know I was promised to be a part of that. We had our ELCC conference, and I just want to thank all the team because it was very good. I've been getting a lot of comments. Minister Burnoff said there was.
Mr. Chair, please.
Excuse
Thank
me.
you, Mr. Dignas. Thank you. Minister McLennan.
I was giving kudos to my team,
Yeah.
Mr. Dignas. Thank you very much. So I want to give kudos to my team and thank them for the hard work that they put in. It was a very good conference. I'm getting a lot of great feedback. Just need to be a part of my budget. That's all I'm asking. So I can give the proper information to the people when they ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I believe, Matt, you're going to talk.
Yeah. Thank you for the heads up, Minister. I know this budget was a really tight window, and we apologize for that. We had kind of stated that, I guess, a little bit earlier, flagged it that it was going to be tight. We didn't know how tight it was going to be, and it ended up being a very kind of narrow window as we started to close in on what budget looked like. And so, yeah, just, I could sit here and give you all the reasons, but I won't do that in the interest of time. And I think we'll just say that next year we'll commit to going through the process a bit earlier and engaging you earlier and providing you with more opportunities to join sessions. So
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, just for whoever's sitting in those seats to have that respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister McLennan. Vice President Leclerc.
Thank you. Thank you, Elder, for your prayer. I know, John, you had indicated that you didn't want to talk about locals anymore, but I've been on the speaker's list for almost 2 hours now. So I'd like to just make some clarifications. I want to thank Tex for bringing the issue up around locals and Minister Friesen for also discussing it. I just want people to know that we do have, I don't know if we're going to get into the details of the budget, but there is a new locals initiative. And I just want to say that this is not a new issue. This is something that we've been talking about at least for the last 4 years that I've been here. Around, we hired a local commissioner, whatever he was, and so we've been hearing what people are saying, obviously. And so there is going to be initiatives to support locals around building governance capacity to be able to apply for, be in good standing, be able to apply for those other initiatives that Mark talked about around language, culture, ELCC, all of those things. And so this initiative will strengthen those grassroots voices in the locals to enable them to be able to, apply for different pots of funding, do all of those kinds of things. That is embedded in this budget. And I mean, maybe Mark can talk a little bit more about that, or Dorothy, but it is a plan, and it's not something that we've just come up with now. It's something that we've been working on for some time around building local governance capacity to be able to apply for funds and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation. Mark, maybe if you can sort of add a little bit to that.
Mr. Friesen.
Thank you, VP Leclerc. Absolutely, you are correct in that we have embedded access to funds for locals to have access to in the last at least 3 to 4 years since we have had the dollars to for that access point for locals in ELCC, in culture and language, in health. For example, the community enhancement grant, locals have access up to $50,000 to participate in cultural activities and events at the local level. There's also through health up to $10,000 in some circumstances, wellness through our lands through health for cultural programming and connection to land-based activities for families, children, elders alike. All Métis citizens have who are connected to locals also have access to that. And there's a number of other initiatives that are coming down the line. So you're absolutely correct, VP. There has been always a focus on local initiatives. There's nothing new here, but we're expanding on that, given the fact that we hear that loud and clear, and we don't ignore those requests. We actually try to enhance what we already support for locals and communities. So thanks very much.
Thank you. And I believe Dorothy was going to add to this. Dorothy Mayo.
Hi, and thank you, Elder Fleury, for the opening prayer and getting us off in a good way. Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also thank Vice President for bringing up the matter of the local support unit. For sure, we've done a briefing with her last week on the budget and some of the key areas that policy and self-determination budget will be covering or be responsible for. So the local support unit, as it is being envisioned, is to really provide the crucial support at the locals level for governance and citizen engagement. For areas of fiscal resources, governance training, and any other administrative support that meet the compliance requirements to the Constitution, to the M&S Constitution specifically. And so that, this is a really new initiative for the upcoming fiscal year that will really focus on, locals driven support, and also that we will ask locals the kind of support that they will require. It's not just what we think they need. I think it's important that that they identify exactly what support they need and the kind of services that they require to actually restore their role as a basic unit of governance in M&S structure. And really what we're envisioning here is, of course, strengthening grassroots engagement, building governance capacity, and really supporting all locals across the province. And the unit is going to be resourced of having 6 navigators, and we're going to have a coordinator, of course, to manage all of the navigators. And each of the navigators will, and this is just a mathematical allocation at this point, 15 locals per navigator, and we'll that's still really to be determined and how it'll be structured. But I think this is such we're looking forward to this, and a more detailed, of course, work plan is being led by Billy Joe Natamagan. They in the reporting structure and the actual key roles of that unit within initially being developed through policy and self-determination. And, in the future, we don't know how it'll grow and how it'll be structured, but we are going to oversee it from our area initially, and certainly work with the council as well as senior leadership to make sure that we hear what the needs are at the locals level, as well as their priorities and the kind of opportunities I think that may be available to them, because there are, we all know that the local presidents require a lot of support, because most of what they do is off the side of their kitchen table, and that they volunteer for this role. And and just to really look at how we can provide that support for them. And I know that we indicated, I think 18 months ago, that we would look at the compliance, what is required of locals to be able to sit at the Legislative Assembly. And that it's not about so much as that, as the other part of building those that bit of that infrastructure that may be needed to help them be the kind of elected officials that they really have been, in terms of the structure and the kind of role that I think M&S and other citizens view that their role is. So I just wanted to add that, and to say that initially, we will do the needs assessment and ask them exactly what is it that they require. And that, providing the support is certainly going to be a high priority for us in, as far as April 1. And it is contained in this budget. And the budget support is within two areas in terms of support for the navigators, and the people will remain under those budget areas under education as well as housing, so that they'll be out located as close to the locals that they serve. And also, that they're accessible, that they can indeed respond to the needs of the locals. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dorothy. Because we have folks on the list that are on their second question, we're going to have a second question list, and we're going to continue on with those that haven't been heard yet. And we're going to start with Minister Mongrand. Leonard?
Oh, yeah.
Are you available?
I'm here.
Right on.
So I know everybody has a few things to say, and it's getting kind of long in the speech part of it, but I just want to thank everyone for coming out today and that. I just have a couple of things, and it's more in line with the services we provide in our region. We've been lucky to be able to partner up with NextGen and Fission Uranium in a way that we can move our agenda forward, and sort of co-management with M&S in Northern Region 2. But some of the things I was quite pleased with, some of the things that M&S has done. At times they hit it out of the park, and sometimes they do, it's not that great, or it's not done properly. But for instance, the van transportation, I'm hearing that our vans are going to be arriving in our community, and our elders are going to be very happy to know that they don't have to hitchhike or look for rides. We'll provide all the services for them, same as people not on a social assistance. Also the medical part of it. We've with the vans and that, and also the units that have been built at the M&S office adjacent to it. I was quite surprised and pleased with the amount of rooms that were done, and that our people can start utilizing these rooms, because it's expensive to start using hotel rooms, especially after a while. It adds up, and then all of a sudden you're scratching your head going, why isn't there any money left? Also, in regards to the piece in regards to emergency repair grant, I know that at times we do things and we get caught up in bureaucracy, and that's our problem. I've always said this before, and I'll continue to say it. At times, bureaucracy gets to be too much for us. Sitting around discussing one subject for 3-4 hours and not getting anywhere at the end of the day is very defeating for me. I'm the kind of guy that likes to make things happen, that we can move forward and take pleasure and knowledge and knowing that our priority is for our elders and for our youth. That's who, as much as we possibly can. So hats off to the M&S team in regards to getting some of the stuff. But the housing situation, the emergency repair program, I had a gentleman the other day call me and said, what's the name of the grant that you guys can get for housing for repairs? And I said, earlier, emergency repair program. He said, you know what? I've had mold in my house for 2 years and nobody's come around yet. I've applied and I've sent the card in and everything to request for funding to fix it. So that's what I mean. There's things that are not done quite the way they should be done in the north as compared to the south. Thank you very much and allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard. Minister Friesen is going to address that.
Thank you, Member Montgrand, for your comments on what we've done with finance and the deliverables that we have. I wanted to just reach out to you and to the citizen with the concern, and by all means, we'll make a commitment to the ministry responsible and to the folks responsible for addressing that concern with the citizen in your region. Please reach out and provide the information so we can contact directly. Marcy.
Thank you, Minister Friesen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard. Minister Burnoff.
Thank you, Chair. Laura Burnoff, Northern Region 1. Those are very good questions, and they're questions that the citizens would benefit with. And I just had a comment too about language. There's some exciting things that will be happening as we go along. So I'm very pleased with how the budget is allocated there. It really makes sense. And so one of the things that I forgot to mention was the language nests are for the early childhood, the ones that are just starting out, because research has shown that if you get to them young, then they can, but along with the language nests, it would be also working with the families, because it's no use for them to be just talking the language at home. It has to be with the families. So that's why there has to be quite a bit of budget on there so we can support some of those families into learning the language. So we've done a lot in 2 years because we didn't start till 2022. So I thank everyone, and I'm very happy with how this is going. And so I call question on this because I think most areas have been covered.
Thank you, Minister Burnoff. So question's been called, so we'll have to have a vote, 50% plus one for question. So if we could get a poll up on question. No poll. Okay, we'll do it verbally. All right, so question's been called. President McCallum in favor?
Yes.
Vice President Leclerc? On question? Vice President Leclerc.
Sorry about that. I'm having technical issues here. Yeah.
Thank you. Secretary McCallum? Secretary McCallum?
Yes.
Thank you. Minister Burnoff? Minister Monkrand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Minister Bouvier?
Yes.
Ryan Lee Carrier? Ryan Carrier? Brent W.J. Dignas?
Yes.
Tim J.W. Rusin?
Yes.
Mr. Mark Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Minister McLennan?
No, because I was on the speakers list.
Minister Pruden Ansell?
Yes.
Mr. Gervais?
Yes, but I do have a question. I think we do finish off the speakers list if I'm correct.
No, that's at the MNLA only.
No.
No,
Oops.
Minister Lang LaRose, or sorry, Youth President Lang LaRose.
Sorry, I wasn't understanding that the speakers list can, like, we just close the speakers list and no one else.
Questions been called because there's been enough questions in debate.
But that's not the procedures we use.
It's the procedure. We're gonna minister.
So is it a new procedure that you're pulling up, Chair?
Move forward.
Questions called. And President Lang LaRose.
Okay.
Wow.
I will. Okay, that is not our past practice, but I'll move forward with it.
Thank you. Women's President Langen.
Finishing the speakers list, I'm going to vote against it. Thank you.
Okay. Question was called. We're going to go to vote on the agenda or on the motion now.
I'm sorry, point of order, Mr. Chair. I think it would be prudent to maybe ask Hillary what we've done in the past, just for clarification, because I'm a little confused as well. So if you can maybe ask Hillary to speak to it.
Mr. Speaker, several of our last meetings, I'm sorry, what we've done is called question. Matt chaired the last meeting. Matt, if you're there, please answer this. Question was called, speakers list were completed. I don't have a problem to step back for my second opportunity, but I do have a problem when there are people who've had their hands up and have been waiting, and one of them is President Langen. So it's one thing if we don't get a chance to speak twice. It's another thing when our elected leadership at the table don't get the opportunity to speak at all. We follow one process, and if we can't figure it out, I'm concerned.
Langen?
Yeah. Okay, I will allow Ms. Langen to speak.
And I'm not allowed to speak. I'm on the.
You're
I'm
on the
on the
second
list.
list, sorry. You
That's
all
okay.
have chances.
Okay,
So,
well, you know what? People are watching.
yeah, thank you,
Okay.
President Langen.
I have a point of order on the floor right now before you move on to the next speaker, and I support obviously finishing off the speakers list, but I'd like to hear from Hillary on my point of order.
Okay, go ahead, Hillary.
Thank you, Vice President Leclerc. So ultimately, the decision of the speakers list and the decision to call question is at the discretion of the chair. And one of the responsibilities of the chair is to be mindful of the agenda that has been passed by this PMC this morning, which includes timelines, and the chair has the obligation to adhere to those timelines to ensure that all the business of the PMC is dealt with. I am hearing that the chair made this decision based off of those who had spoken had the chance to speak, and then those who were asking to speak again will not have that opportunity due to timelines. I'm also now hearing from the chair that Minister Langen did not have an opportunity to speak, and therefore the chair is making the decision to provide Minister Langen with that opportunity. So those are all of legal's comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Hillary. President Langen, question for the budget.
I'm going to just ask to be put on the speakers list. I just have some words I need to speak, and I'd like to be put on after lunch on the list to speak. Thank you.
Is it pertaining?
Is it pertaining to the budget?
No, that's why I'm asking to wait.
Well, we'll see if it's relevant after lunch. Okay, so can we get the poll? Oh, we're going to do this vote verbally on the roll call. So those, I'm just going to read the motion again. All right, draft MNS operating budget for 2025-2026. Whereas the Métis Nation Saskatchewan MNS recognizes the distinctiveness of Métis identity, culture, values, and language, inclusive of knowledge keepers, le vieux monde, the old ones or elders, youth, women, and distinctive resources, which is incorporated into proposals and decisions of the Provincial Métis Council, PMC. Whereas the Constitution of the Métis Nation Saskatchewan in Article 2.10 states that all budget should be determined by the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly based upon the recommendations of the Provincial Métis Council. Whereas the Métis Nation Saskatchewan adheres to established financial standards and accounting policies for all funds received on behalf of Métis citizens of Saskatchewan. Whereas our government is committed to delivering on the commitments made to our funding partners and citizens. Whereas the MNS Finance Committee has reviewed and unanimously approved the draft budget 2025-2026 at their duly held meeting on March 3rd, 2025, FC 250303-03. And whereas the PMC has reviewed the draft budget 2025-2026 at a technical session on March 10, 2025. Therefore, be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council approves the draft budget 2025-2026 as presented at their duly held meeting on March 18, 2025, and recommends it to the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly for ratification at the next sitting of the Assembly. And further be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council approves and recommends of the draft budget 2025-2026 within their authority as directors of the Métis Nation Secretariat Inc., as per the bylaws of the Métis Nation Secretariat Inc. Minister Friesen still so move.
I so move.
Minister King still so second.
That's correct.
Thank you. So I will ask your name and whether you're in favor or not of the motion. President Glenn McCallum, in favor or no?
Yes, in favor.
Thank you. Vice President Leclerc? Favor or no?
Yes, in favor.
Thank you. Secretary McCallum, in favor or no? Secretary McCallum, in favor or no? Minister Burnoff?
In favor.
Thank you. Minister Montgrand?
In favor.
Thank you. Minister Bouvier?
In favor.
Thank you. Ryan Lee Carrier has left. Brent W.J. Dignas?
In favor.
Thank you. Tim J.W. Rusin?
In favor.
Thank you. Minister Friesen?
In favor.
Thank you. Minister King?
In favor.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy? Is he with us still? Minister Kennedy? Minister McLennan?
Absolutely not, and I want it recorded that I voted against. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister Pruden Ansell?
I'm opposed and would like it noted in the minutes, please. Thank you.
Noted. Minister Gervais?
I will support it.
Thank you. Youth President Lang LaRose?
An excited yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Women President Langen?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion's passed. Now we'll go to 8.2. Provincial Métis Youth Council Election 2025. Whereas the Métis Nation Saskatchewan MNS recognizes the distinctiveness of Métis identity, culture, values, and language, inclusive of knowledge keepers, le vieux monde, the old ones or elders, youth, women, and distinctive resources, which is incorporated into proposals and decisions of the Provincial Métis Council, PMC. Whereas the last election for the Provincial Métis Youth Council, PMYC, president was in fall 2021, and the PMYC election was endorsed by the PMC 210720-07. Whereas the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly has set an election for the executive and regional representatives of the PMC of May 24, 2025, MNLA 250125-02. Whereas it is prudent that the election for the next PMYC president be held within the same year as the election for the executive and regional representatives to the PMC, so that the next PMYC president is given the opportunity to be fully involved and engaged in the strategic planning and onboarding process that will take place in 2025. Whereas there are funds currently allocated in the draft 2025-2026 MNS operating budget to support an online election for the PMYC, and whereas election rules for the 2021 election for the PMYC president were developed, attached as Annex A, Métis Nation Saskatchewan Métis Youth Council Youth President Election Rules that will require update but serve as a basis for the development of rules for a 2025 PMYC election. Therefore, be it resolved that the Provincial Métis Council supports an online election for the Provincial Métis Youth Council, PMYC, in 2025 to be held as soon as practical after the 2025 MNS election on May 24, 2025, to ensure that the PMYC president can benefit from strategic planning and onboarding that will occur for the newly elected executive and regional representatives in 2025. Further, be it resolved that the PMC confirms that the budget allocated to the PMYC online election are funds currently included in the draft 2025-2026 MNS operating budget for a youth election. Further, be it resolved that the PMC recommends that the PMYC approve updated rules for the 2025 PMYC election that align with the Saskatchewan Métis Elections Act 2007 and directs that those rules be provided to the PMC for information before the PMYC election takes place. And further, be it resolved that the PMC confirms that the chief electoral officer appointed by the Métis Nation Legislative Assembly, MNLA 210220-12, will conduct the 2025 PMC election according to the election rules established by the PMYC. Dated this 18th day of March 2025. Moved by Provincial Métis Youth Council President Autumn Lang-LaRose, seconded by Eastern Region 3 Minister Mark Friesen. President Lang-LaRose, still so move?
I do, with just a slight correction to a wording.
Where is that wording, President?
Just in the last further be it resolved, it says 2025 PMC election is just missing the Y there.
PMYC.
Oh, okay. Mr. Friesen, still so second with that typo change fix?
I'm happy to.
Thank you. So questions on this, or President Lang-LaRose, did you want to speak to it first?
Yes, I did, Chair. Thank you so much. And thank you as well to our elder for starting us off in a good way with that prayer this morning. This is a really exciting resolution and one that's absolutely necessary. As we all know, that the changes to the constitutional reform were unable to move forward. And so we are have a bit of a gap here with an election for PMYC and for the present position. It's been made incredibly clear to me by youth in Saskatchewan that they want the youth president to have an opportunity to be involved in the orientation process and the strategic planning that the PMC undertakes in the fall after their general election, something that I was unable to participate in due to my election being in November, a couple months after that originally took place in 2021. So I'm excited, although it does shorten my term greatly, I suppose. It is in benefit for all youth in the province to be able to have the opportunity to be a part of that orientation and strategic planning for their government, and as well as an exciting opportunity for the next youth president to be elected alongside their youth council. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Mr. Dignas, Minister Dignas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Elder Fleury, for that opening prayer. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, President Autumn Lang-LaRose, for that presentation, and I call question.
All right. I'm going to allow Ms. McLennan to have a question. Minister McLennan.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just have a question. It's great that we're going to have a youth election, but what about the women? Are we not including them in the election also? Doesn't that state in the Constitution that the women and the youth? Thank you.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit, and then perhaps if whoever else wants to answer that. And,
yeah, please go ahead,
for sure. Absolutely. I think in spirit of efficiency, if the Lafita Madeleine wanted to be a part of this online election, it would save the MNS a lot of money and have a lot of efficiency for the program. But my mandate specifically is for the youth, and I have no authority or ability to decide whether or not the women or Lafita Madeleine want to take part or even initiate an election for themselves. Although, I do think it would be a great opportunity to host them at the same time.
Yes, thanks, Autumn. I do too, because I've been getting asked from many women why they're not on the ballot, because we haven't had an election since 2013 for the women. And I think, to be fair, that we should maybe talk to Lafita Madeleine and see if we can get an election, because just to have everything on equal ground so everybody's fair and we're doing the elections at the same time. Thank you. That's just my thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Langen. I'll let you speak, and then Dorothy Miles is going to speak to that. So, President Langen.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Sherry, for thinking about us. As most of you know, that we have been trying very, very hard to have gotten on this ballot box For this upcoming election, we worked really hard towards being able to do that. So all women across the province would have an opportunity to vote for their women's president and executive. Unfortunately, that did not work out. We had no luck in getting on the ballot boxes, and it's definitely not like we didn't try. Our intentions are to have elections this fall for the women across Saskatchewan. And hopefully we will get some support from the MNS. If not, we'll look at having to do it ourselves, and it will be done. It will not be a like the youth election. We will have something that will be in person for it, where everyone will have an opportunity to vote, to speak. We don't feel comfortable with the process that the youth are taking for our women. We want it to be a fair election where no one who's not supposed to be voting won't be voting. So yes, we are working very hard. And like I said, with or without the support of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan, the Ville de Madeleine will be having elections no later than this fall. Thank you.
Thank you, President Langen. Dorothy Miles is going to speak to this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to President Langen Rose for speaking to her resolution, and also for President Langen for the Ville de Madeleine. I just want to say that we were going to be meeting with President Langen to discuss their plans in terms of the elections, and that you know, the idea of having online elections is something that that was done for the Youth Council for their president, you know, really 3.5 years ago, and it was and there were no issues relating to that. But I also will say that the reason why the youth president and the women's president is not on the ballot box in this May 24th election is because the constitutional amendments did not happen in November at the MNLA, and so that didn't get addressed, and so we are still finding other ways, other mechanisms that are available to us to ensure that the youth president gets representation in a duly called election, as well as an opportunity, I think, exists for the women as well. So I do commit to meeting with President Langen in the coming weeks to discuss this further. Thank you.
And I believe Minister Friesen is going to talk about budget impacts on that.
Thank you, Dorothy, for committing to speaking with LFDM, and thank you, President Langen, for committing to having a election. I just wanted to comment on, I think this is a good step forward. I just wanted to comment on the budget impact of having an in-person election. As you will see in this budget, it does not reflect an election for women in person. I think that we could accommodate alternatives to support the women's election provincially, and that's a discussion that you'll have with Dorothy and her team, so that we can get to the point of supporting you with your provincial election. Marcy.
Excellent. Thank you, Minister. Okay, so folks, we'll just go right into the vote for approving of the Provincial Métis Youth Council election. So all those, President McCallum. So we're going to do it verbally again as well. So Vice President Leclerc, in favor?
In favor.
Thank you. Secretary McCallum, in favor?
In favor.
Thank you. Minister Burnoff?
In favor.
President McCallum, in favor?
In favor.
Thank you. Minister Moncriand?
Favor.
In favor? Thank you. Minister Bouvier?
In favor.
Thank you. Mr. Carrier, not here. Mr. Dignas, Minister Dignas?
In favor.
Thank you. Minister Roussin?
In favor.
Minister Friesen?
In favor.
Thank you, Mr. King,
In favor.
Mr. Kennedy.
In favor.
Thank you, Mr. McLennan.
In favor.
Thank you, Mr. Prudence.
In favor.
Thank you, Mr. Gervais.
Yes, sir.
Youth President Lang-LaRose.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Women President Langen.
In favor.
Well, golly, passed. Thank you, folks. That's good stuff. Good luck to the youth, and thank you, President Lang-LaRose, for all your hard work that you did for all the youth in your term. Saw your work, appreciated it. So with that, folks, we're going to take a lunch break till 1 o'clock. When we reconvene, we will go to resolutions 8.3 and 8.4, and we will reconvene at 1 o'clock on the nose. Enjoy your meal.
Thank you.